I'm Rebecca and welcome to episode 10 of the Creabea Knitting podcast. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a knitter based in Edinburgh and this is a vlog or a podcast all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I've been knitting on and what I'd like to knit on in the not too distant future. And this is episode 10! We made it to double digits. I'm excited. I know it's just another episode, but there feels like something exciting about a big milestone, like 10 episodes. And so in a bit of a celebration of that, and because there's something exciting coming up later in the episode, this episode's being premiered. Premiere just means that I've filmed it in advance, but that there's like a live watch party. So if you're watching live, hi! I'm also in that chat box having a little chat. I'm super excited to hear some responses about some swatches I want to show later on and some decisions on what to cast on. For most people watching, I think this will make no difference if it's premiered or not, and you'll be watching as normal. So hi to you all too. Today I have, what do I have? I have one finished object, I have 3 works in progress, I have, like I said, a big pile of swatches to talk about because I'm casting something on, or maybe 2 things, or maybe 3 things this week and I can't decide what to cast on. I've got an exciting new knit along to announce. I'm so excited for it. And a little bit of life updates, a little bit of chat. Oh, and 2 questions from the Q&A thread. In advance, it's super bright today, so if I'm squinting at the camera, it's just because there's sun glaring at me. So apologies, I think the colours are all still showing up okay, but I'll try and put pictures in. If anything shows up unclear, I'll add them in on the screen. So let's start with what I'm wearing. So I am wearing my Billy pullover. This is a pattern by Sari Nordland and I was a test knitter for this pattern. It is an all over top down cable knit sweater with like raglan. There's a raglan somewhere here and here, I think. Yeah. And it was a lot of work. It was super exciting and I think it's one of my makes I'm most proud of. It felt like I say, felt like it required a lot of effort and it was quite intense, and finishing it felt like finishing a marathon. I used the recommended yarn, which is Cascade 220, and I used the colourway the Shire, which is this like beautiful Celtic green, and I made the 4th size in the pattern, although I did have to add a couple of extra inches to the yoke before I split for sleeves. I shared a picture of this on Instagram maybe a month ago and it is still so popular. I can't believe it. I think it's like close to 9,000 likes on Instagram. I've never had anything be that popular on the internet before. So it's been really weird. I still, like I don't get to forget about this because I still get likes on it most days. So it pops back up on my feed, which is kind of weird. But I'm glad everyone else loved it because it took a lot of effort. However, I will say I'm not wearing this very much. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is I think I know. I think it's a few things. So firstly, I don't know what to wear this with. I don't really wear jeans very often. I wear a lot of like dresses and skirts and I'm just struggling to like layer this with that right now, I think. That's the first thing. The second thing is the sleeves. They are, I don't mind the length of them, but they're a bit baggy. They're quite loose here. And I just don't love that. You can see if I do it this way, like there's a lot of space, which kind of annoys me, and I do find that I'm like pulling them down quite a lot. It's not great. And the third thing is it feels like it's still a bit too tight here. Like I want the fabric to relax. It fits, but I feel like it's all like trying to scoosh upwards. So I might need to block this again. I'm wondering if that might solve the problem. If anyone's got suggestions, let me know. Because I would love to wear this more. It's not like massively uncomfortable, but I'm very aware that I'm wearing it, and I like things where I'm just like cozy up into it and I forget that I even have it on. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about that, I think. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Let's jump into my first and my only FO. Okay, so I have one FO. It's just off the blocking mats, so it's mostly dry. It's mostly dry. I'll pop in a cutaway of it as well so you can see a bit more detailed. But this is this is my Stockholm sweater by Petite Knit, and you can tell I've blocked it on the radiator because it has like a nice big line down the middle, which I'm hoping will wear out. We'll see. So firstly, let me talk about this pattern. So the pattern is the Stockholm sweater by Petite Knit. Petite Knit patterns are from extra small to 5XL, and I made the 4th size, which I think is 113 centimeters finished. It's slightly less positive ease than is recommended in the pattern, but still 13 centimeters on my 100 centimeter bust. This pattern, the yarn. So I used Drops Alpaca, which is 100% alpaca from, yeah, 100% alpaca from Drops. That's what Drops Alpaca is, funnily enough. I got it from Wool Warehouse. It's really well priced. All Drops is pretty well priced, to be fair. And you can't see as much in this, but it's a beautiful, it's a really lovely colour. It's like a really rich red. And the colour I used is called Rust Mix. And I held it with one strand of Tilia, which is mohair from Sandesgarn. That mohair has 15% wool in it, so it's a bit more of like a rustic mohair. I don't know if there's such a thing as a rustic mohair. But you can see it's got like a pretty good halo. But it is a bit more like, it's not super soft. Like a few other mohairs I've used have been really, really silky, and this is not quite as silky soft. I shared last time about a couple of mohairs I've tried. It was only 3 of them, but I would say a lot of people messaged me on, or left a comment or left me a message on Instagram and said they were really interested in mohair and like the breakdown of different mohair types. Sophie Hemmings, who is the Knit Pearl girl on Instagram, did something amazing and bought 1 skein of every commercially available mohair on the British market. And I think also bought a couple of, like a limited amount of hand dyed mohair, and swatched them all to write a comparison. So I don't think that she's like published her findings. I know she's working on her PhD, and so I think things are a bit hectic. I think she has some of it saved in her highlights on Instagram, and I was like hooked. I thought it was so interesting. I think what she did is that she swatched a single strand and then 2 strands held together, and then one strand held with something else, and then she has all these swatches, and she's written up like price point and meterage and thoughts about them. So if you're interested in mohair, that is definitely the best source that I found for it. So yeah, that is the pattern and the yarn. Something I really like about the pattern is the picking up stitches for the shoulder seam is practically invisible. You really can't see them there, which is a technique I thought was really cool. I would definitely use it again. There's a video linked, I think. But yeah, it's just, I guess you can, yeah, there you go. You can kind of see, but it's super, it looks really professional. I like that. What I don't know if I love is the collar. You can see as I hold this up, like the collar is just struggling a little bit. It's meant to lie quite flat against the neck. It's quite a deep collar. It's I think like 14 centimeters of ribbing. Sorry, 14 rounds of ribbing, so it's maybe 7 centimeters. And then you fold it in yourself and you sew it down. And it's meant to lie really flat. Now when I was knitting this up, I hadn't finished the sleeves and I tried it on and I was like, don't know what I think about this. I was a bit hesitant, a bit worried. It wasn't really for me. But I posted on Instagram and I got loads of people saying it's really nice, it's lovely, this is what it's meant to look like, so I trusted the process. The pattern also calls for you to add some elastic to the neckband. So I used 2 types of elastic. I used shirring elastic in the bit where it's folded over, because that's really, really stretchy, and I figured that probably didn't need like really good recovery for the elastic, just something to keep it cinched in. And then I put a cord, I meant to grab it before I started filming and I forgot, a really thin like DK weight elastic, if that makes sense. Like that's how thick it is. It's really, it's quite thin. It was pretty stretchy but recovered really well. It was like a black corded elastic, and I put that in right around the top here, but when I blocked it and I wanted to pin this out, I actually found that the elastic was too tight and I wasn't allowing me to block it to where I wanted to block it to, so I cut it out, and my goal is to try this on again and then maybe put the elastic back in. It definitely doesn't sit like super nice, like that's me just holding the shoulders. and the collar just seems a bit almost too heavy for it. But we'll see. I've not tried this on yet because it was still damp even this morning, so I'm excited because after the podcast I can try this on and see what I think. I have another yarn. Is it here somewhere? Yeah, I'll grab it. I'll just grab it now. Oh. So I ordered this bag, by the way. Sorry, I'm all over the place. This is from ages ago. It's from an Etsy shop. My name is Rebecca, so it's an R, and this is Liberty print. I think it was quite well priced, but it took so long to arrive. I ordered it to my parents' house so I could get it when I was there for Christmas, and I forgot I ordered it, and it arrived like last week. So it took way longer to ship than I thought it would, but it is lovely. Now I have this yarn, which is Rico Design Superba Alpaca Luxury Sock. I showed this on the podcast quite a while ago. I picked this up at a yarn shop in Cambridge when I visited. That was Cambridge. It is 62% wool, 23% alpaca, and 23% polyamide and 50% alpaca. It's a sock base. I think this is so soft and such a nice colour, and almost like not quite variegated, but like a little bit tonal. So I definitely wanted to make a plain sweater with this. And that was just after I'd finished my 2 versions of the no frills sweater by Petite Knit. And I wanted to make a no frills, but I was thinking I should make this one, the Stockholm, first, because I could use this yarn to make Stockholm, and I thought, well, let's make it and see if I like it more, etc. I've pretty much 100% decided to make a no frills. I love the process of no frills. There's something really soothing about casting on, and just, there's nothing complicated. There are raglan increases, and then there's some picking up stitches under the sleeves, and otherwise just knit. And that's all you do, and you pick up your sleeves and you just do your thing. And I miss that with this jumper, because this is drop shoulder construction, so you knit the back panel and you knit the 2 front panels, and you join the front panels, and then you knit flat, and then you join there, and then you, for the sleeves, you pick up all the stitches, and then you have to add short rows, and like, it's not complicated, but it's just not as soothing as I want it to be. And I don't think I love this sweater enough. Maybe when I try it on, I'll change my mind. I don't think I love it so much that I think I really want this, like this design in the grey. So I think I'll be casting on. It's ready and packaged up for travelling on the train on Friday. So yeah, we'll see. I also have a lot, I have a lot of yarn with mohair to combine with it. We're not going to get into it today, but I have got a bit of a mohair obsession at the minute. So if I make this and decide I'm wearing it a lot, I have quite a few other options of being able to make another one of these. But we'll see. I'll probably cut away in, I'll just do a flat lay of this so you can see what it looks like, but love the colour, love the yarn. Don't know if I love the fit yet, we'll report back. And that is my first step up. I have 3 whips. 2 of them are kind of the same thing, but yeah, let's move on to whips. Okay, whip number 1. Which way around to do these? Okay, I'll do the sweater first. This is definitely still damp. My blocking mat's got a lot of attention in the past few days. So this is the day off sweater. It's like Fridag, Fridag. It's a Norwegian designer, and it's a cable knit pattern. And yeah, let me hold this up. I'm definitely going to put in a flap with this because it's definitely a bit damp and it's going to be funny. So this is what it looks like. Yeah. Oh, I've made this in Plottilope. Plottilope, yeah. Smells so strong of sheep, especially because it's wet. It just smells like a wet dog. So let me talk about the pattern. This pattern is, I've had this pattern for ages. I accidentally had this pattern in 2 versions because I accidentally bought the Norwegian version too, and I was too lazy and scared to message the designer and say that I'd bought the wrong one, so I just bought it again in English. The pattern comes in finished bust size of 83 centimeters to 158 centimeters, and yeah, it has this like design here, and then the sleeves are, I think, double moss stitch, and you knit it from the bottom up, so you cast on the round, and then you cast off the stitches under the arms, and then you shape the front panels, and then you seam it at the top. The seaming was definitely a bit of a challenge. Let's see if I can hold this up properly. So a couple of things. I might have done this wrong, or this could be an issue with the pattern, and I don't want to say it's an issue with the pattern because it could definitely be me. But the sleeves, like the cables don't match on the top of the sleeves. So it's not a continuous cable, if that makes sense. Like they reverse, which I don't think anyone noticed, and it's quite neat in general up there, so I don't think it's going to be very noticeable. But yeah, it bothers me a little bit that like this cable and this cable don't match. The pattern has you graft the shoulders, you kitchen or stitch the shoulders together. I actually tried to, oh what's this? It's a funny loose stitch. I actually kitchenered in pattern, which is the first time I've done this. So you kitchener the purls and the knits, and it mostly is pretty neat. There's a little bit where it's a little bit like off center, but again, I think I would notice and I think nobody else would notice. I'm knitting this in Plotolopi, which is unspun. I actually got a plate of this. I'm sitting very comfortably on this chair, but it's so hard to reach all my stuff. I brought a plate of this over because I figure a lot of people maybe, I think everyone knows what Plotolopi is, but in case you don't, it comes in these plates in this like plastic bag. And it is pure new wool. And it's from Aftenstrikk, who also make Alpaca and Letlopi, and it's like this. And it's unspun, so it's really, really just pulls apart really easily. A lot of people recommend that you ball this up, so I'm using two strands knit together. I'm using two plates, so I have like one plate here, one plate here, and I'm just pulling from the outside of both of them because I found that was the way of getting the least amount of tangles. Some people ball them up, so they ball them, they'll take like two balls, or they'll take the inside and outside and roll it, like hand wind it into a ball and then knit from a ball, which I can also get. It's definitely a more like portable way of knitting with it, but the two plates worked fine for me. I have 3 plates of this left and I have to do the 2 sleeves, and I'm holding it 2 strands together, so I'm not sure if I'll have enough. I think I'll have enough. We'll find out at some point if I have enough or not. What else was I going to say about this? Oh, so I chose to knit this in the size 108cm size. So I did this and then I finished the body and then I tried it on and I decided it was too tight. And I think it's part of this, like I really realised that I wanted a very oversized cable sweater, like the sort of thing that you would almost wear as outerwear, and that's why I made it in the Plotolopi. So I thought like I could just, the sort of thing you pull on the way at the door when it's like a crisp day, but it's really dry and it's like an over like an outerwear sweater. But I finished it and tried it on and realised it was definitely going to be too small for that, because firstly I hadn't blocked it, and so when you don't, like cables are like this and then you block them and they really stretch out, so I knew there was going to get some give from the cables, but I went to town blocking this. So it should have been 108cm blocked, it's 118. So I blocked an extra 10cm into this garment, which I'm really happy with, because now it's definitely the finished garment size I want. And it's quite a light, it's not right now because it's wet, like it's quite I don't know if you can see it, like it's quite it's not a very dense fabric anyway. You could definitely kind of, I think you'd always have to wear something underneath. Well, you don't have to, you can do whatever you want. I think generally you should wear something, I would wear something underneath this. And so in that sense it's okay if it was quite aggressively blocked, because it's like, if there's a little bit of like holes in it, it's okay because it's going to be over something all the time. So that's my day off sweater. I lost a bit of love of this when I finished the body on Sunday morning, I think. I grafted the shoulders on Sunday morning. Also, grafting, or like any sort of sewn anything with unspun yarn, is not fun, so I would definitely recommend against it. It was a bit of a nightmare. I ended up having to like put quite a lot of twist. I had my needle and I had the yarn doubled over, and I was putting quite a lot of twist into it to get it to sort of stay strong enough. I don't know if I should have done that, but I did, and it worked in the end. So yeah, that is my sweater. It smells so sheepy right now. It really just smells like a big wet dog in my lap, and I don't mind. I kind of like it. Is that a problem? yeah, it's blocking. We are like did I already mention? I think I did. We're going down south on Friday. I think I've mentioned it like 3 times already. We're going there on Friday, so I don't think I'll do any work on it before we go because it's still wet. But I'm much happier with it. When I finished the shoulders on Sunday and I tried it on, I was like, oh my god, this is so ugly. Just because it was all tight and like honestly like it was like fitted properly to my body, and I was like, this is not what I was going for, and I was a bit upset. But having blocked it, it's going to be fine. So I'm really excited about it because I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to give it away to someone. And so I had no motivation. So that's actually what I thought. I was like, should I stop now and block it, or should I do the sleeves and block it at the end? I'm really glad I stopped now and blocked it. And I think what I'll probably do is maybe steam block or maybe wet block, like just dip a sleeve and dip a sleeve and then steam block the collar at the end. Because the body, like, yeah, the cables are lying really nice and flat now, and throwing it around. Yeah, so that is my first work in progress, my Friday day off, free day sweater by Aftenstrikk in Plutolopi. Do I have the colour actually? I don't think so. I think it's beige. Oh, I don't have it. It's just beige. Beige. Yay! On to the next whip. Okay, and time for okay, time for some deja vu with whip number 2, because it's also a Friday, free day off pattern. This time it's the cardigan. So it's the same designer, it is Aftenstrikk. It's a slightly different gauge, so this must be iron weight, the sweater. I'm just curious. 16 stitches over 10 centimeters. So yeah, it's like a worsted weight, and this one is DK weight. So it's like a tighter gauge and a lighter fabric, but otherwise it's the same thing. So let me show you the progress. I showed this last time too. I've made quite a bit of progress on this. So this is it, like in half. Ta-da! So it's really, yeah, I guess you can see the detail here a bit better than on the sweater. It's got 3 cables, and then in the middle it's got moss stitch, and I guess it folds this way. This is how it will fold. So that'll be the 2 front panels, and I'll pick up the button band. So, oh, look at those, like the green and this look so good together. Yes, I'm really enjoying this. The pattern is great. Let me check the size. The sizing is pretty similar. It is 90 centimeters to 160 centimeters finished bust size. I can't remember if I'm knitting the 3rd or the 4th size. To work it out, I would have had to count my moss stitch or my double moss stitch stitches, and I didn't have time before I started filming, so I'm not really sure. I think I'm knitting the 3rd size, which would give me 110 centimeter finished bust, which would be 10 centimeters of positive ease, I think. But the pattern recommends 20 centimeters, so I might have gone up. I don't think so. The yarn is Woolyknit British Wool in the colour Cinnamon. I am obsessed with this colour. I got this hank back in... Oh, it's got really bright again. I got a hank of this. I actually got 3, maybe 4 hanks of this. They're 200-gram hanks. I think I got this in the Black Friday. Yeah, I think I got this in the Black Friday sale. I did a purchase with them in Black Friday sale. I did a purchase with them in the Halloween sale. I think it's the 2nd one. I caked them up, like I caked the hank up into 2, well, I thought they were equal size, but this one's a bit bigger, into 200-gram hanks. This is the colour, and yeah, I'm holding 2 strands together to make DK weight. It's rustic, but I love it. Like it's definitely not as scratchy as a Lopi, but it is still quite rustic. It's 100% wool, and I love this so much. I wasn't that motivated by this when I was knitting on it at first. I think because the way I normally operate is I normally have like at least 1, if not 2, like super plain stockinette whips, and then like 1 or 2 patterned whips. And my 2 patterned were the cardigan and the sweater, so they were the same pattern, and the sweater was moving faster because it was on a bigger gauge. So I think when I was sitting down and thinking I want a more involved knit, I was reaching for that one. But I took this one to knit night for like 3 weeks in a row, and then I went to visit my dad for his birthday this weekend, and it was like 2 hours on the train, so I took it then, and I made a lot of progress. So I'm now, this is about 30 centimetres, just shy of 30 centimetres, and I'm now ready to split for the front and back. So again, it's bottom up, and then you cast off the underarms, and then you knit the front 2 panels and the back panel, and then you graft together the shoulders, and then you knit the sleeves, and then I'll pick up and knit the button band. I don't love this method of construction, mostly because I just don't think grafting shoulders is very neat. So I'll decide on this one. I might do a three needle bind off, which I've not done before. It's not what the pattern is meant to look, it's like not what the pattern called for, but I think it might look more professional, because I just think with a graft in pattern, they're always going to be off by at least 1 stitch, and I just think it's going to look messy. So yeah, I might do that. If anyone has suggestions on what else to do, I'd love to know. But yeah, this is getting a lot of love because I don't really have much on my needles right now, because my Stockholm is finished. I'm ready to cast on new projects. This, my Lopi sweater is sitting over the arm of this chair, so I keep tapping it. It's wet, so I don't think I'm going to be knitting the sleeves on that anytime soon. So this is kind of all I have on my needles right now. Which is why I picked up my next whip, which you'll see in a second. But yeah, I just love this colour. I have enough of this yarn to make something else as well as this cardigan, because I love it so much. And I bought mohair for that this week, so I'll need to start thinking about what to make with it. It's so good. So yeah, that's my second whip. And I can very quickly show you my last whip, which again is so far away because this chair is so big. So this is in a bag which I made myself, but not very well. So it's like a little pouch. Yeah, I have so many bags now that I don't need to use the ones I made myself, but this was just sitting in there, so I was using it. This is a hat. It is the classic ribbed beanie by Pearl Soho. Yeah, and I started knitting this before Christmas. So I gifted a couple of hats for Christmas, and I ended up getting some like interesting, I talked about them a few episodes ago, but I bought some interesting yarn. Before I bought that yarn, one of the gift knits was going to be in as grey instead. And so what I did is I took this to the cinema one night and knit up 1 full skein of yarn. They're 50 gram like little skeins. So I knit all of 1 skein and then didn't take the second skein with me, and then it sat in this bag. And so I was knitting on Christmas stuff, so I wasn't that eager to pick this up. So much so that I ripped the needles out. So it was just like sitting like this, like it was half of this with just loose yarn and loose stitches. Confession, that probably wasn't very good of me. But I knit, as I mentioned last time, quite a lot of my work meetings, and I need it to be something plain and straightforward that I don't have to look at and round and round and round with no counting or anything. So I pulled this one back out of, I don't know how I came across it actually. I think I came across it last week and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. And then I thought, oh, that when I was thinking about patterns or projects to pick up, I picked up this. So I've just, at lunchtime today, I just did 1 row where I put in the, I've just done the setup row for the crown decreases. And that's about it. It'll fold up. And it'll just be like a nice grey beanie, which is for me, I think. Because I made everyone else hats for Christmas and not myself one. So this pattern is the classic ribbed beanie by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern. I have made a lot of these. I actually have a skein of red yarn that I want to make myself one of these in, and I've just remembered like right this second. I should have put that out because it's so nice, and like it's a really nice skein of red yarn. Anyway, maybe after, maybe next week. It's a lovely pattern. It's a simple free pattern. What I will say is I'm making, I think, the adult small. I cast on 108 stitches. There are definitely 2 sizes above this one, and it fits, like it's super stretchy, and I think anything more than this the hat would be too big. I've heard a few times from other people say that Pearl Soho hat patterns are big, run big, and they definitely do. So yeah, 108 stitches, and otherwise I just follow the pattern. I think you knit for like 8.5 inches, and then you start the crown decreases, and it's like a 6-point decrease. And yeah, I'm using pure Gint in this lovely like slate grey colour. It is, I bought mine from Knit Yarns, Simona, who's amazing, I I ordered from Simona this week, and I need to be cut off because I just keep ordering from her and she just keep ordering mohair. She has a discount code right now because she's the official yarn supplier for the first sweater by Hive Knits. So there's 20% off all of her stuff, like the whole, not the whole white website, but a lot of the fingering weight yarns and most of the mohair. And so I took the opportunity to buy more mohair, which I do not need. But anyway, that was all to say that that's where I got this yarn from. The cardigan is it's not super soft, but I gather it's like a real workhorse yarn in Norway, and I've been using this for like centuries and centuries. It's rustic-ish, but not crazy rustic. I think this would make a really great, like you could hold, where I sometimes have used Cascade 220 in the past, I think this would just be like a perfect substitute. And I think it comes in some slightly nicer colours, a bit more like trendy colours. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to getting this out of stash, getting this off the needles, and hopefully it will provide me some entertainment for, what's today, Wednesday? I'm working Thursday, I'm off on Friday, and I'm getting the train. So hopefully this will be enough knitting to get me through the rest of tomorrow's work meetings. And yeah, that's it for my whips, which feels really weird because I feel like I always have so many whips. But if my whips are done, that means it's time to talk about the really exciting thing. So a bit of context. Since maybe December, like just before Christmas, I've had a couple of brands message me asking me if I want to try out some of the yarn or some of the products, talk about them on the podcast, which is, I mean, kind of exciting because I think getting free yarn is kind of the peak of every knitter's hopes and dreams. But it was quite important to me to make sure that I was still only talking about yarns that I like in the most honest way. I don't want to feel like I have to say good things about yarn that I don't love, or that I wouldn't recommend buying. And so, I mean, it's not like my inbox has been bursting with requests, but I've had a handful of those emails, and with the exception of the one brand that I'm about to talk about, I've turned all of those down and said to them, like, for the main reason being I wouldn't spend my money on that yarn if they weren't going to offer it to me for free. And so I don't think it's fair or reasonable for me to take the yarn for free and talk about it on the podcast. And then the wonderful day came. I was sitting right here on this chair. I was on a work call because sometimes in the afternoons if I have calls I take them here and like chill out a little bit. And that's what I was doing, and my phone, like a little notification popped up with an email, and I freaked out and I take a screenshot and I sent it to my boyfriend who was working in the other room, and he came running through and he was like, and I was like, I know. And that email was from Woolyknit. So if you've been here for any length of time, you will know I'm a huge fan of Woolyknit. They are a British based company. They make a huge variety of different products, including like DK weight yarn, they make acrylic yarn, they make linen and cotton blends, merino, and my ultimate favourite of theirs is their 100% British wool, which I just showed you in one of the whips from the yarn that I bought back in, I think, Black Friday last year. So they messaged me and said, hey, we've been watching your podcast and it seems to us like a few people have bought our yarn because you've been talking about it. So thank you to everyone who tagged me when they've shared their purchases, because the news got out to them. And they said, firstly, thanks, it's been really great to see. And secondly, would you like to do a collaboration? And of course I said yes. And we went back and forth with some ideas. And for the next 6 weeks, we will officially be running a make along together, so you can knit or you can crochet or you can weave or you can make a rug, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But our make along is officially called the Conealong. So one of the things that Woolyknit are best known for are their yarn cones. So this is one of their yarn cones here. This is a 500-gram cone of the 100% British wool in the colourway Mallard. You can see that colour there. And yeah, there's 500 grams on one of these cones. It is like 2,300 something meters, and so I can get, for me, I can get a sweater made out of one of these with two strands held together, or of course you can hold a single strand. And I love this. It's 100% British wool. It smells like the farm, like it smells so good. And yeah, we've decided we're going to run a Conealong. So let me tell you a bit about the details. What they said is they sent some prizes, and they've sent some yarn as like a gift to say thank you for doing it, and they've sent some yarn for me to knit some stuff up in. So to say that they sent me, you know, a little bit of yarn might just be like an understatement, because I opened a parcel and inside that box there were 22 cones of yarn. 22 cones. Now they're not all 500 grams, some are like smaller little ones. I think this is like a 250 gram one. But so much yarn to knit with, so much yarn to talk about, and so much yarn to give away. So let me talk firstly about the details of the Conealong, and then I can talk a little bit about my swatches and what I'm thinking of casting on, because someone needs to tell me what to do because I'm so indecisive and I have too many things I want to cast on. And then there's a lot of fun bit at the end. So the Conealong runs from right today until 6 weeks from now, which I believe is the 24th of March. I was going to check my calendar app has stopped working. Yeah, the 24th of March, 6 weeks from today. You do not have to finish anything, so don't think you have to finish any form of knitting in the 6 weeks. It can be whips, or you can have something you've already started knitting on, or it can be something that you want to cast on but you may not finish. All accepted. You can enter the Conealong by posting a picture on Instagram and using the hashtag Conealong. That's it. Conealong. Conealong. That's it. And you will automatically be entered in with a chance of winning. I think we're going to have 6 prizes. So 6 people will win yarn cones. The last Knit-along I ran only had, I think it had 170 posts in the final thread. So if there are 170 posts again, you're in with pretty high chances of winning a prize if there are 6 prizes. But hopefully even more people will enter. So the good news about this, or the thing I'm really excited about, is that you can use any cone to enter. So the ways you can enter are the following. You can use any single cone you want. It can be a Woolyknit cone, because I know a lot of us have these stashed away somewhere. It can also be a cone from another brand of yarn if you have one of them in stash, or it can also be a mystery charity shop cone, like I know Amy Palco is very fond of a charity shop cone. So I don't want to exclude anyone. If you've got something in stash that works, you're more than welcome to enter with another cone. However, if you enter with a Woolyknit cone and you make it clear in the post that it is a Woolyknit cone, so you can tag them or you can put it in the description, then you get a double entry. So it means your post will count twice. You could also enter using the Woolyknit British Wool hanks, which is what I'm using for my Friday cardigan or my day off cardigan. They're 200 gram hanks, and again, if you have them, you're more than welcome to use those. And again, if you use Woolyknit hanks, you will also get 2 entries. So everyone can enter, but of course it is a Woolyknit sponsored knit-along or make-along, Conealong, and so if you use their products, you enter twice. And that's it. That's all you have to do, is just post at some point over the next 6 weeks and use the hashtag. And yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like cones are making a bit of a comeback. I know that a lot of podcasts I watch have a lot of cones, or like knitting from cones, and I love knitting from cones, so I'm really excited to share some tips and to see what people knit with them, because I already have a lot of Woolyknit in stash, and I have a little bit more Woolyknit in stash, and I'm really excited to see what everyone knits with them so that I can get some ideas. So yeah, let's jump into some of my swatches. I've been swatching like a maniac in a good way. I'm so excited to cast on at least one of these, probably 2, maybe 3 of these. So let me talk through them now. So, swatches. So I have a few. Basically, as soon as this yarn arrived, I started swatching. And I will say, there are a couple in here of swatches which I already had the yarn for. They're also Woolyknit, but I had them in stash. And yeah, so what I think is really exciting here, maybe no one else thinks it's exciting, I'm sorry this is really boring, I love this, is I got really into like trying the yarns different ways. So I've got a whole host of different ways of holding the yarn, holding other things, like etc. And I thought I'd just show you all my swatches and show you what I'm thinking of making. And then if you're watching live with a premiere, please engage in the box and tell me what to make, and if you're watching it back, also tell me what to make, because I think I'm going to make all of these, but I would be interested to know, like, is there something that you want to see get made now or follow along with, or is there a pattern you're also thinking I'll cast that on? Because I just need to like order in my life, and I've been carrying these swatches everywhere. I sent them to Knit Night on Monday to show them off because I love them so much, like the obsession is real. So let me start with like where the yarn is held just by itself or like with itself, and then I'll sort of dive into the other fibres I've paired it with for different projects. So the first one, we start here. So the first pattern I'm thinking of making is the half and half triangles wrap by Pearl Soho, which I think everyone has heard of now. It is a beautiful, I mean, it's not really a shawl, and I've said before, I'm not really a shawl person. Somebody left the most incredible comment that was like, oh no, Rebecca, don't start knitting those useless items. Nobody likes, like, shawls are useless, they don't serve any purpose. And I both disagree and wildly agree, but I know that I don't really wear shawls. But the idea of the wrap, like the half and half triangles wrap, I have a few like big blanket scarves that I wear a lot when it's colder, and I like just like wrapping myself in them and walking around the house. So the half and half triangles wrap definitely like fits that bill, and I just want the soothing knit. However, I am not knitting a fingering weight shawl, because I'm just not going to do it. So I tried pairing two colours together. I wasn't planning on using these together at all, and then I had one cone sitting on top of the other cone as they were resting, and I was like, that would be amazing together. So this is my swatch. It's not like proper, I mean, it's just two bits of garter stitch, like it's not in pattern as such, but I mean it is a garter stitch shawl blanket. And this is the first one. So it's two strands held together of the Woolyknit. Now they sent me in the box of yarn shade cards. I love these. When I was little I used to collect paint cards, or I think they call it paint chips. So this is basically as exciting to me as getting all the yarn. But the colour of this, this is Autumn Glow Red, this one, and this one is Burgundy Red. So yeah, I think they're really nice together. I swatched this, I checked, there's an episode of Caddy Jack's Knits which I found via Laura Penrose of Penrose Knits, of the gauge, and or not the gauge, but the needle size and the stitch count for a DK weight half and half wrap. I'm a loose knitter, so this is on 4mm needles, and I tried just with a little scrap I had of 3.75mm needles. Not that I would use this colour, I don't think, but I thought I would try it, and I think I'm okay with the 4mm. Like, I was worried maybe it's holy, but I don't think it is. And this I'm not any more, this one's nice and squishy. So yeah, option one, half and half triangles wrap with two strands held together. Super simple, super easy pattern. I mentioned already, the way I usually do my works in progress is like 1 or 2 simple projects and 1 or 2 complicated projects. So I pretty much have like 4 spaces to fill. Not really, because I have 2 whips, but we have 4 spaces to fill, that's how I'm treating this. And so this could be a candidate for like an easy knit, like a simple, straightforward one. Okay, next up we have, so this is the colourway Mallard. Now, yeah, okay, I'll start there. So this is the colourway Mallard, and this is 2 strands of it held together. And to be honest, I was thinking about using this either for, sorry, my hair's driving me crazy today. I cut my own fringe yesterday and did a very bad job of it. So I'm like tucking it up away, but it keeps coming back in my eyes. So this is, yeah, it's a really nice, like, I showed the cone of this already. I moved the cones over there now. So I was either going to knit the first sweater by Hive Knits or the Foxberry Pullover by Sari Nordland. And both of those have a strand of mohair, so I tried swatching it both with and without a strand of mohair. Sorry, these are like really pathetic small swatches. I like the swatch, but not seriously. So this is it without the mohair, and this is it with the mohair. And so I'm definitely going to go for it with mohair, and I think I'm going to use this swatch to make a first sweater. Oh, it's not really focusing. By Hive Knits, and this is paired with a strand of Filcolana Tilia mohair. So this is I've caked this up off of the cone, just using my ball winder, and this is the Mallard colourway, and then this is the Tilia. I ordered this yarn from a new to me provider. I usually order all my Filcolana from Knit Yarns, and she's amazing. It has a great selection. But I saw someone post on Instagram about maple tree yarns. They have a very interesting selection of things. They also stock Woolyknit, they stock Filcolana, they stock a little bit of John Arbon. It's like a Windows 98 website. I was not convinced I was putting my card details into a legitimate website. It was very old school. But it arrived in Christmas wrapping paper and with like 5 stamps on it, and they were all really cute stamps. So yeah, it was great. They posted it first class but didn't tell me if it was delivered, so it turned out to arrive I think 2 days after I ordered it. So yeah, if you're UK based, they are, as far as I can tell, the cheapest supplier of at least this. I think it was about 80p cheaper than anywhere else I found it per ball. So there we go. So yeah, I'm pairing these two together, and I got this swatch. Sorry, the wheel is wrapping up a bit. I love this. I'm obsessed with this colour. So this really beautiful petrol blue. And I was on the fence. I was thinking, should I make a Foxberry pullover? Should I make a hive knit sweater? And I've decided that I'm going to make, well, with this colour, I want to make the first sweater by Hive Knits, which I think we've seen everywhere. And it falls in, well, it's, I need to do a bit more gauge testing because I'm quite a loose knitter, but the gauge is 24 stitches per 10 centimetres, which for a DK weight I find to be quite a tight gauge. So I think I swatched on a 3.5, I might go down to 3.25 because I didn't quite get gauge. Hence why it's like in the round, because I was trying to get like a round gauge. Oh, just look at it, it just looks so good. This could fall into my category of pretty easy knits, I think, because the yoke, like you cast, I think you cast on the, it's a double collar, and then you knit the raglan, and so the sleeve part of the raglan is in half fisherman's rib and the rest of the body is in stockinette. And theoretically it could become a simple project quite quickly because I could get past the yoke and then onto the body, and the body is all plain stockinette. So this is like kind of an easy project, like it definitely falls into the simple category. I also swatched for the Foxberry slash Hive Knits first sweater in the burgundy, and I paired it with a strand of Drops Air. If anyone's following me on Instagram for this last week, I had a dilemma about this because, as you can maybe see, it marled quite heavily. I actually think I can open this blind now because it looks like the sun's setting. Let me do that, it might improve the light. There we go, a bit more light. So there we go, this is the second one. It's not looking as marled here, but the like core strand of the mohair was light, and I can just, it's just these like hot pink fuchsia pops, which I think is a lovely look, but not really very me. So I was torn about this one, and I was like, oh, is this what I want to do? And then I was stressed because I thought I don't want to order more mohair. Fortunately, the beautiful, like, it was a really nice, I think it was called Dark Rose, it's a Drops Air, it's perfect for someone on my knit night. So I took that mohair along on knit night, and I decided for now I don't need to rush into getting a mohair to pair with this burgundy yarn, and I can make the fox, I think it's the Foxberry I'll make slightly later. However, we've got some combinations. So that was the second one. So yeah, we have half and half triangles, first knit sweater, Foxberry so far. Next up, I tried pairing one of the merino wools with Drops Air, and it is incredible. So this is a swatch for the sweater number 15 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It's an all over cable sweater. However, I could also use this yarn combination for the Foxberry if I really want to make the Foxberry pullover. So where's my shade card gone? It is Celeste Blue is the colour of the mohair, and it's drops in the colour grey. So it's made this like, it is like a pale blue base and this grey overtone, and it's kind of made like a cool grey fabric. It is exceptionally soft. Like, this is insanely soft. This is one of the softest, yeah, it's super soft. I don't know anything else as soft as this. So that's the merino wool cone and Drops Air and sweater number 15. I'm really excited about this fabric. I'm not as excited about the pattern, which is why I'm thinking maybe I should use this yarn combo for the Foxberry. Do I want to make a Foxberry sooner? So yeah, this one I'm undecided about, but I just think that looks super good. And you can see how fluffy that mohair has made it. It's like the halo is real. Okay, So now we've got, that's 4 swatches that I've got so far. And I have 2 more. So the next one, I used 2 strands of, oh actually the next 2 swatches are both yarns I already had, so they're not gifted yarns. I bought these ones, one in Halloween and one at Black Friday. So this one is a swatch for sweater number 18 of my favourite things knitwear, which is like an all over textured sweater. I've seen a few versions of this and I think it's really lovely. So I have used here 2 strands of, the gauge is quite high for this, it's 15 stitches, so it's an Aran weight gauge, 15 stitches over 10 centimetres, and so I've used 2 strands of Woolyknit in the colourway Harvest and 1 strand of Sandesgarn Tynn mohair in the colourway Ochre, and I just think I'm obsessed with this one. Like, it literally just looks like gold, actual gold. So I think this one is at the top of my list to cast on. I have it in a bag because I think I'm definitely taking this one with me. So yeah, this is the yarn. I got this in the hank, so it doesn't come in a cone. I got 3 200 gram hanks of this, and this is the mohair. Yes, yes. So yeah, that is the sweater number 18, which I think I'm going to cast on like on Friday because I think that'll be really interesting and really fun. Again, it is a drop shoulder construction, so you knit the back panel and then the 2 front panels and then join in the round, and it is it's quite cool, the pattern. It's like, it's just knits and purls, but just a really interesting combination of knits and purls. So that's swatch number 5, and swatch number 6, and I'm just throwing them everywhere, is again a tiny little baby swatch, and this is a swatch for the Jenny sweater by Petite Knit. I swatched for this a while ago. This pattern, I was obsessed with this pattern a while ago, and then it kind of got put on the back burner and I was like, oh no, I don't know, couldn't decide what to do. This is 1 strand, did I put this? Yeah, 1 strand of the Woolyknit cone in the swatch card. I think it's just called Natural. It's called Aran Cream. So there's an Aran Cream and there's an Aran Nep, Cream Nep, but it's one without neps, it's just the plain one. And I paired this on the recommendation of Amy Palco with 1 strand of Sandesgarn Titicaca, which is 100% lace weight, it's real thin lace weight alpaca, and it is just like uber soft, super soft. And this is made a really squishy soft fabric. The gauge on this is insane, it's like 32 stitches per 10 centimetres, so it's super tight, which I'm slightly nervous about. Oh, I've got a stitch marker inside my yarn ball. Where did that happen? So I really want to knit this, but I don't know if I've got the guts to do it right now. It feels like a real long-term project, and it feels like it could be a good one for summer, because it's still quite lightweight and it's lighter colours. But yeah, that's this one. And somebody messaged me on Instagram and said that they bought some Woolyknit, and firstly, does it soften up with wear? Sorry, I keep throwing these swatches everywhere. Firstly, does it soften up with wear, and secondly, like, how sensitive is it? So I have a relatively high tolerance. I cannot wear low-P next to skin. I have to wear a t-shirt under it. Well, I can wear it, but it irritates me, to be honest. If it was life or death, I could wear it. But yeah, I find it like a bit irritating to wear next to skin. Everything else I'm fine with. So I do think I have quite a high tolerance. I do think that the Woolyknit is rustic, but I don't think it's super, if you're okay with like a Holst or a Jamieson's and Smith's, it's very similar. And what I loved with the swatching is, oh, it softens with wear, definitely, sorry, that's the other question. Does it soften with wear? It definitely softens up. It blooms and softens quite a lot, which I'm always just insanely impressed by. But what the swatching taught me is how much everything softens up with a strand of something else. So the difference between this with the mohair and this being 2 strands, like, I wish I could put these through the camera. It definitely is softer. So if you're really sensitive and you're thinking, I want to take part and I want to try 100% British wool, but I am sensitive to something, I would say consider pairing with something else, either a mohair, or if you can't wear mohair, you don't like mohair, this was amazing. So yeah, this is with a strand of Sandesgarn Titicaca alpaca. It almost is like the alpaca is actually almost pearlescent. It really like it really shines, so this makes it look almost like a shiny swatch. So yeah, those are my swatches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And these two, I will say, were yarns I already had in stash, and these were yarns that I was gifted to either knit along with in the giveaway or as a gift for saying thank you for taking part. So I'd love to hear in the comments what you think I should cast on. I will be putting this will be going live on Thursday evening, and on Friday at 9 AM I'm getting on a train and we'll be down south in like London area for 10 days. So whatever projects I take with me are going to get the most love at the start of the Conealong. Currently I'm leaning towards casting on this and casting on this. Like, these are my two favourites. But I know that Mega from the Skeins of Dreams podcast is just cast on a half and half triangles wrap, so I could knit along with her. And I know that like 100 people are knitting the Foxberry, so do I want to knit along with them? But yeah, so I hope this is exciting for everyone else and not just me. This is just like the peak. Like, this couldn't get any better. Like, being able to sit and knit and, you know, do the podcast and connect with people, but then also getting to work with brands I really love. Like, this just felt to me like the pinnacle. I don't think it can get better from here, right? Like, this is the coolest thing. And I will say Woolyknit were amazing. They were just so friendly and so nice, and I, like, for example, we agreed what day we put the video live, and I got the day completely wrong, and they were like, oh no, it's fine, don't worry, and they were just really understanding that I've got like work and other stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I feel a real obligation to do a good job for them because they've just been so great and so nice, that I want to make sure I'm delivering on, I mean, there's not really a promise, but delivering on the prospect. So yeah, well, there's one more cool thing, well, two more cool things. So maybe you're sitting at home and you're thinking, but Rebecca, I've resisted the temptation to buy a cone all this time, and now I don't have a cone for the Conealong. That's okay, because there are two ways. Firstly, there's a discount code. This is really cool because I have a discount code. I think that makes me like an official influencer now. So the discount code is creabeapodcast. It should be on screen, and I'll make sure it's also on, I put it in my Instagram bio in case anyone wants to go back and find it later. It is for 20% off British wool with Woolyknit. So that's either the cones or the hanks of British wool. There are other things that the code won't apply to, so it won't apply to like the acrylic or the merino cones. But I mean, they're also still really well priced. So I would urge you to still have a look at them. I would really like if somebody would use the code, because I can't justify being the only person to use this code for the next 4 weeks. So it would be really cool if people would use it, just because it's I don't know, it's my first time doing a brand collaboration, and so that would be cool. But again, if you have other yarn and stash you want to use, I'd still love you to take part. It runs for 4 weeks, so it'll run until midnight on March 9th. And if, just for full transparency, I won't get anything, like, it's not an affiliate code, so it's not like if you spend £20 I will get a portion of that. I've been gifted my yarn, so I have all my spoils of the collaboration already, and the discount code is just to give you a discount so you can take part if you want to by buying a cone or a hank. However, there's also another way to get your yarn home for the Conealong, and that is with an Instagram giveaway. So right now I have posted a giveaway, and it will be live for this weekend, so I'll close it on Monday evening. I don't know what the date of Monday is. I don't know. Monday the 14th, Valentine's Day. So on Monday at midnight UK, so GMT, I'll close the giveaway and pick a winner. But all you need to do is head over to my Instagram, and the thing is in the description below, and I've shared a post there, and you just need to follow me and follow Woolyknit and comment, like tag a friend in the comments and say what you would knit with a cone of yarn. And some of the cones are like big chunky 500 gram cones, and there may be some little cones if you want to do like colour work or a shawl or whatever. And I will pick one winner and send the yarn for that project. So if you tell me that you want to make a sweater, I will send you a cone to make a sweater. And if you say you want to make a shawl and you want to make it in the cinnamon colourway, I'll send it your way. So that's really exciting. One person at least will get the cone to make their yarn, the cone to knit the Conealong with at the start of the Conealong. God, too many times I'm saying the word Conealong. And yeah, if everyone asks the discount code, and at the end of the Conealong there'll be prizes and 6 cones of yarn to give away. So I hope you're excited. I hope it sounds good. Please let me know if you're excited about it, because I have never done anything like this before. As I mentioned before, I work in tech and I'm not any kind of marketing or social media person, and I'm just hoping that this is like a real nice win-win-win-win, like win for the brand, win for me, win for you guys, win for the winners. So yeah, that's the Conealong. It runs from now until March 24th. Discount code is creabeapodcast, and there's a chance to win the cone for your Conealong over on my Instagram until Monday the 14th. And tell me, oh that's the big one, tell me below what I need to cast on, because I don't know. Should I stick with my gut? Or something else? Let me know below. And yeah, just a few little bits left to wrap up. So I was going to do a couple of questions from the thread. Context, I am on a yarn ban, which just sounds ironic. I can't really claim to be on a yarn ban after just telling you I got sent loads of cones of yarn and that I've bought mohair to pair with a load of them. So I'm not really on a yarn ban anymore. But whilst I wasn't getting acquisitions, I was answering some questions, and I put out a call for some questions for me to answer in a Q&A. So I still have that list, but I'm going to skip them this week because I'm feeling a bit worked up about the Conealong stuff. I'm excited about it, and I've been drinking coffee and I'm a bit like buzzed. And also I think I'm losing the light, so I'll try and keep it short from here on out. So just a few life bits and pieces. The first one is that on the last episode I received an incredible comment from a viewer called Tegan Hamlin. I won't read the whole thing out, but Tegan has worked in the fashion industry for quite a few years and like engaged in the conversation about size inclusivity. And one thing that they raised is that it's really different to fit something for a plus size body, because that's not what's taught and that's not the norm. And so a lot of the times in clothing, there's like, they separate out the pattern blocks, and they have like a plus size pattern block and a regular pattern block. And that when it comes to knitting, there's just not enough knowledge about fitting for plus size bodies. And they had asked that if there was anyone who had any particular knowledge or skill set around fitting plus size knitting garments, to let her know and see if they can put together some documentation or some courses or something to try and help. So if you are someone who has experience of any form in fitting or grading patterns for plus size, it would be amazing if you can drop her a message. I think the best way would probably be just to reply to the comment on the last episode. But it's a joy to read that comment. It's so interesting, and I think it got like 50 people liking it, so I'm obviously not the only person who appreciated the comment. So thank you, Tegan. And yeah, if anyone else has anything to add to that conversation, you can find it in the last video. Second thing, is I'm going to Unravel this weekend. Unravel is a yarn festival in the UK. It is in Farnham, which is very fortunate for me, where my boyfriend grew up and where his parents live. So we have timed our journey in a way that we can be there for a friend's birthday, but also very conveniently for me, so that we'll make it in time for Unravel. So I'll be at Unravel on Saturday, which I think is the 11th. I think my arrival time is like 12 o'clock, like the noon slot. You have to pick, I think for COVID purposes, they get you to book and a time you arrive, but you can stay for as long as you want. I'm not going to take footage or anything when I'm there, because I think I'm just excited to squish all the yarn, but I have heard from the big world of vlogging that there might be a few people around who are planning to record and take some footage, so maybe I'll sneak up on someone else's vlog. But I'm nervous. I think I'm very comfortable sitting here in my chair talking about knitting, but I'm watching other podcasts, and I'm a bit nervous to meet people in real life. But I know that Jonathan's Days will be there, and Laura Penrose, the Knitting Pickle, will be there, and I think also Sophie Hemmings, is Knit Pearl Girl, has mentioned going, so I'm just excited. I'm looking forward to it. A few people have messaged me on Instagram saying they're going to be there, and like they might say hi, so that would be cool. I'm just really looking forward to it, like yarny in real life and just being around some fellow yarn people. I have a few things I'm planning to get. So, well, things that I've like told myself, if they have this and they have what you want, this would work, you could get this. So the first thing is a non-superwash sweater quantity of fingering weight yarn. And I have no idea what colourway. I thought before I went and maybe like a tonal red, but then I saw this like marshmallow-esque pale beautiful jumper on Instagram last week, who which is amazing. It's by I think her Instagram handle, you pronounce it Copy Cali. I could be making that up, that's how I say it in my head. I'll put a picture, I'm sure she won't mind. I'll put a picture, I think she watches the podcast, so I don't think she'll mind if I include it, of her like marshmallow dream cloud sweater. And ever since I've seen that, I'm thinking maybe I should get yarn for that. So that is it, but yeah, definitely non-superwash. And I think there are limited options. The only options I've seen so far that might suit the bill are pigment and ply and telling yarns. So excited for both of those. I'm also considering a sweater quantity of sport weight yarn from Rauwerk, and the Rauwerk, I think it's 2-ply sport in the natural colours. And I'm also very excited for Fibre Fox, who I wasn't that excited about the yarn because I think a lot of the yarn bases are superwash, but they have dyed up project bags using their yarn colourways and they look beautiful. So I'm excited to squish some of them, I guess. So yeah, Unravel on Saturday. I'm really excited. I'm a bit nervous. And yeah, I won't film much, but I'm sure next episode I'll have some updates and some purchases to share. And yeah, in terms of life, all going well. Work is still really busy, but I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, 10 days down south from Friday. I'm looking forward to it. There's some friends I really miss seeing that I can't wait to catch up with. Yarn festival, being around in London. I think we're going to go to like our favourite cinema and go out for some meals and stuff, which I think will be really nice. And while we're down there, I'm attending the Bridgerton Secret Cinema, which for those who don't know, Secret Cinema is an immersive cinema experience. So everyone dresses up and there are actors and like events and things going on. It's at Wembley, which is a huge stadium. So I think it's going to be a pretty big event, but I need to make an outfit for it. So my plan, hopefully tomorrow, I need to do some work tonight because I've been podcasting today. So tonight I'll be working a bit late, but I'm hoping tomorrow evening I can turn out a Regency style ball gown in a whole evening. I might share some pictures on Instagram. It's not, I don't think it's going to be to a very high standard of execution. But I might share some pictures on Instagram if I get something made for that. We'll see. But that is the week after we've been there. So I think on like the 23rd we're going, or 22nd, and then we're back home on the 23rd. So I think most of the time between now and the next podcast, I will be down at my boyfriend's parents' house. But I'm looking forward to podcasting again next time and sharing what I've cast on. I've been so desperate to cast things on. I've been so patient with not doing it and waiting to hear. But I'm really excited about it now. And that's all for me. And if you're excited about the Conealong, please let me know because I feel a bit nervous about it and doing like commercial things, a bit scary. But yeah, as always, you can find me over on Instagram, or you can reach out on Ravelry, but I'm not very responsive. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Happy knitting, and I'll see you next time. Bye!